What's good, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Land Grant Podcast Network's I-80 Football Show. As always, I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with my co-host, Dante.
What's good, Jordan? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm all right. Another day. It's
Yep.
no longer. It's still cold, but it's no longer getting dark at 3:30, which helps. Um,
True.
trying to figure out my rhythm to the off season. I would say this is probably one of the places where you're luckier than I am. Um, where like you just transition into basketball and like stuff where like I don't. So I'm like, what am I going to watch? What am I doing with my life? I was talking to my wife because we were trying to plan something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we could go to that on Saturday." I was like, "Yeah, football season's open. My Saturdays are open now for the next 8 months." So like, we can plan things on a Saturday now.
Right. I'm crying.
But yeah, I'm
But
all
yeah,
right.
true.
How are you?
I'm chilling, man. I had a job interview earlier today. Um
Nice.
yeah, I think I got it. I'm going to be confident in assuming that I got it because the way we spoke, he was like, if we had it, because it was over Teams, and he was like, if we had an in-person interview, I would have had you working right now. I was like, I would have started. So
Right.
hey, so it sounds like I got it. That, in my eyes, is what it sounds like.
Well, I hope you got it. Sounds like you got it. We love to see that.
Yeah,
It's
I go in to meet everybody on Friday, so it sounds like I'll probably be getting an offer on Friday.
perfect. I the job search process is awful. I mean, I went through it
Especially
not
now.
that yeah, I went through it not that long ago. I'm actually next week I'll be a year at my job, but it's
Nice.
still not that far removed from when I was in the job search process. And it's funny because a student who's like applying, um, they live in another state and they're like, yeah, has anyone ever accepted the program, moved here, but also looked for a job? And I was like, it probably happens. I'm like, most of our students who move here for the program are going full time because, like, I moved here, like, I just want to knock this out as soon as possible. But I
Yeah.
was like, the problem is the job market is so bad right now. There's no way to guarantee if you got accepted into the program next week that
Yeah.
you would have a job by August. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, you would really just have to sort of like play it by ear to see to see if you get a job because like you might not like
Yeah. Yeah.
you really might not get a job in 5 months. Like that's how bad
It's
the job
it's
market is right
it's
now.
the job market's been very crazy lately, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. That's why I was. It was nice, or I was glad how he sound about about it, and it sounds like I got the job and I'm joining the team. So thank God I could be back to work and eat. I've
Yeah,
been eating. Don't get me wrong. I've been eating, but like you
but so
know,
you didn't eat when you had a job. What are you doing now?
you're right. You know, I was cooking more when I had the job, but that's
that's why
like
you that's why
yeah.
you look skinny. You go another month, you about to start looking like 50 Cent in that movie. You'll be doing the podcast laid up in the bed.
What happened to hell? I can't get no nutrients. Yeah, man, that's funny. But yeah, no, I probably because my roommate also had to get a new job, and
Mm.
she stopped getting the Hello Fresh meals. I'll probably just pick that up when I get my job because the food was really good, and I was enjoying cooking and stuff. So, and
Is it?
yeah, nah, the food's good. The food's good,
Okay.
especially when you do it right. When you cook it right, it's good.
You gotta add your own seasoning, but
Not really.
yes,
I've
you
come
do.
to learn, especially with HelloFresh, that salt and pepper is completely fine.
Hmm.
It's like steaks and stuff like that is when you have to add other seasonings, like chicken wings and things like that. Is when you do that. But salt and pepper is legit fine.
Hmm.
Legit fine. It's even if you're looking for a different flavor, then yeah, but salt and pepper, because most of the time, especially what I've learned from that stuff is that actual garlic, stuff like that, they have you chop up thyme and cilantro and stuff like that all the time. That that adds flavor too. And
Do
like
they give you that?
yeah, yeah, they give you all
Okay.
that stuff. Yeah, like and it comes with sauces too. that's where all the flavors coming from. Is like the sauces and the stuff you make for that. So
Okay,
like salt and pepper for real is all you really need. Legit.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had one of those meals once. It may not have been HelloFresh. It was also like 2018. So
Mm.
I imagine they probably got better. They
Oh
were
yeah,
pretty
yeah, by then.
whichever one I had in 2018, it was pretty bland. But those are I mean, those are definitely like a major convenience, I bet.
Yeah, no, it's cool because again, like the one thing that has now that it's stopped, but we still have food. The one thing that stops me from cooking is the fact that I have to remember to take it out the freezer. And with HelloFresh, it's legit. You take it out the fridge, start cooking it.
Mm.
Yeah.
But don't you got to freeze it? Don't they give you like a month's worth or something?
Nah, it just gives you like 3 or 4. You can set it up how you want. So how we were doing it, we were getting 3 meals a week.
Okay. So
Yeah,
like yeah, so I mean you get it each week like you're
yeah.
not freezing it. It's just yeah.
Mm-mm. You're pretty much cooking them within that week for real.
That
And
makes
then which is nice. It's like usually there's like leftovers for at least one more day. So you have that night, the next day, and then you cook another one. And you got that day and the next day, and it stretches out a week depending on how much you're eating and who's there and stuff like that.
I got you. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, no, I mean, I would never. I mean, I think this is a bad joke if you don't know me or my wife, but I gonna say I think my wife would think I'm cheating on her if I if I suggested HelloFresh. Like what the hell is this? Like
The foods are good. The
we
different, the
don't cook
different,
no more. Yeah,
right.
yeah, no. that's not an option for me. If she ever leaves me, maybe. That one's not, that was not for me. I'm gonna be on my ass cooking right next to her. We going to the store getting our ingredients. We not doing that. Bring that home to me.
Yeah,
Like,
and
who did
that's
you get this from?
it's just, and again, like we've done that. So like we've kept some of the cards, like we kept a good amount of the cards and stuff.
So
Because
then you can like,
yeah, you can make it yourself and stuff like that. So that's what I've made these street taco bowls like a few
mm,
times now and stuff like that. Like it's good food like, once you get it there.
I
It's
feel
just
that.
yeah, it's just funny because like, I see what you mean. Like because again, I know your wife and I know you, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because like, babe, no, like no, for real, the food's good. Like,
Baby, please. Yeah, no,
oh shit,
that's not an option for me. But
yeah,
I'm sure it works for a lot of people.
yeah.
Um,
It's legit, especially for me since I'm pretty much a single man, and like you can make enough for a family of four. You can
okay.
order because it'll give you enough for a family of four, or
Uh,
just two or one person. So and usually enough for two is enough for two people, and then two people again for leftovers for real.
okay.
So yeah, it gives you a good amount of food, and it's good. I can't even deny it. Like
Yeah.
I've thought it was tasty, and it made me like cooking again. I hate cleaning dishes still, but it
Right.
it
But yeah.
it
Yeah.
made me like cooking again.
When I like there's another service that called Butcher Box, which we
Hmm.
giving all this free promo and nobody's getting I
Yeah, you
like
know what? Yeah.
yeah, like I just say this. I just say this. We had Butcher Box for a while. I miss
Mhm.
her. I do because I feel like so my thing is right, like it may not be the best deal in the world always,
Mhm.
but the convenience, like one of the problems that we're having now that we don't have it is when we had Butcher Box, we had a freezer full of meat. So
Mhm.
if like it's like a random Tuesday and we hungry, it's like all right, what's in the freezer?
Right.
Now, if we don't like, and like in New York, like there's a lot of like neighborhood stores and stuff like that, and you have to carry your groceries and stuff. So it's not like Ohio where you have your car and you
Right.
grocery shop for 2 weeks. Like when we lived in Ohio, we get paid on Friday, we grocery shop and for 2 weeks until next paycheck, and we just had all of it. Like you don't have the room for that, so like it'll be like a random Tuesday, and we don't got nothing in the fridge, and
Damn, I didn't even think about that about
it's like
living
I'm
in.
not trying to go to the store.
Yeah, I've
So
never
like,
that never
but
crossed my
like,
mind about living in New York. Like, yeah,
yeah, but like
grocery
with
shopping is probably annoying.
it is, it's awful. But then with like Butcher Box, like we always had meat there, so it's like it may not be the best deal, but it was good.
Right.
And like it was nice to just be able to open the freezer and be like, all right, we got chicken wings, we got steak, we got this, we whatever. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to get her back. I'm
That's
gonna
what
wait. I'm gonna wait until they have a good promo because when we first signed up, they had free steak for a year. So we got
whoa.
2 steaks every month for a year. Yeah, so
Hey
I'm gonna
yo,
wait till they. I'm gonna wait till they
I
start.
might hold on,
Yeah,
butcher box.
and they change it. So I'm gonna wait till the steak come back because they could be like free ground beef. It's like 2 pounds. So the steak was 2 steaks. If you do like the ground beef, it's like 2 pounds of ground beef. They sometimes they do like chicken, whatever it is. But I'm waiting till the steak come back. That one don't come around as much.
Right. Yeah,
Have you ever speaking? Have you ever been to what's it called? Have you ever been to the Brazilian steakhouses?
Texas Day Brazil.
Any of them?
I've been to that one, but yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I said that don't come around that often, and it made me think of the Brazilian steakhouse because we went to one, and I think we sat down at the right time. So they came out and they was like filet mignon. And we was like, yeah, let me get that. And then we were there for like an hour. I'm
Mhm.
not sure we saw filet mignon again. They're like, we don't bring this one. We bring you the skirt steak. We bring you the
Mhm.
chicken. Like I saw chicken. It's like this is a steak
Bruh.
restaurant. Like why are you bringing chicken so much? Where is it? So literally, we literally had to like flip our thing red. And every time they brought food, because we were getting full. Every time they brought food around, we had to ask them what they had so we could
Mhm.
wait to see till we got like a good. Like we was like our last couple bites. We wanted to be one of the good customers. Stop bringing this damn skirt steak and chicken around.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that happened the last time I went. They kept bringing bacon wrapped chicken like
Oh
three
my
times.
god.
They brought it around like 3 times. I was like, bro, if you don't bring lamb over here, I swear to God.
Where's the lamb? Where's the filet mignon?
Like
Where's the like
something, please,
something
because I'm
like
sick of this.
yeah?
Please
I don't
give me
want to see
something
no more.
else.
I don't even eat bacon wrapped chicken that much. Why you keep bringing this? This is a
Why you
steak.
keep bringing this over here, bro? Like, bring me something.
That was funny. That they really do be playing, and it's funny because
Mhm.
like we sat down and we was just in the cadence. So it's one of the first or second things we got. So we like, oh yeah, they really be bringing it around. And then it's like an hour
Hell
later,
no.
we like, have you seen
Did y'all
filet
go for lunch or
again?
dinner?
Dinner?
That's crazy. Because I
Yeah.
know at dinner they bring the steaks around a lot more.
So that's the thing. They brought other steak. They just didn't bring that.
Ah, that's childish.
Yeah. So like
Where's the good steak? I'm
what's
paying
the
$50 for both of us.
right?
It's gonna be
What's the
$100. Please give me something else.
what's the like common steaks? So, like New York strip is one, and then like
Yeah,
ribeye.
that
Like
one
they would
ribeye. The
bring like
ribeye, I know
yeah,
they
they'd bring
bring a
like the
lot.
ribeye, they'd bring like
Yeah.
New York strip, they would bring, but they wasn't bringing the filet mignon. And there's another one that they had too, like a center cut something or something crazy. They wasn't bringing that, and I'm like, come on, bro. Like I'm
I
starting
legit
to get
that.
full. Can you
The one
please?
time after the fourth time of seeing chicken, I was like, "Yo, where's the filet mignon?" And the guy was like, "Oh, okay, we'll come back around. We'll come back around." Next thing you know, here come lamb, filet mignon, and all that. I was like, "Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
y'all
you
playing too
gotta
much."
ask.
Like, it's like this your chicken's good, but it's not that good. Stop
Come
it.
on. It's also not Brazilian bacon wrapped chicken. That's not what it's called. It's
Yeah,
Brazilian steakhouse. Bring the steak.
bring the
Stop
steak.
playing with me.
Like I hear, like please bring me something else. Like I was like, dog, y'all keep bringing chicken wings and bacon wrapped chicken. I can make this.
I got that at home.
Like I got this at home, nigga. I don't know where to get lamb. Like bring
Yeah.
the lamb. Like,
If you actually want a lamb, you can bring that at you can get that at Whole Foods. You know why
see,
I know that? Because before I got before I moved to Columbus with my wife, I had never been to Whole Foods. I had never been to Trader Joe's.
still haven't.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Still
never.
haven't been.
And now I'm telling you, oh yeah, the Whole Foods got lamb. Like you see what she's done to me?
I know things, man.
Like, why can I tell you about that? What are you like? Yeah, no.
That's funny as hell.
Some people would call it culture, I guess. I call it I don't know what I call
I'm
it.
losing myself. No,
Yeah, there you go. I'm not even allowed in Canton no more. They don't got a Whole Foods in Canton. I actually don't.
No,
think they
because
have a
like
Whole
now you
Foods in
think about it,
Canton.
like I'm pretty sure the nearest Whole Foods for
In
me is like
Cleveland.
30.
Yeah, I think it's Cleveland. Is it one in Akron?
Yo,
There might be.
there's one in Cleveland. I know that. There's not one in Columbus.
No. Oh, no. You're
No,
talking
there
about
is.
TU.
There
Sorry,
is.
you're talking about TU. I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about Canton
Oh
because
yeah,
even
Canton is
because even
Cleveland.
yeah,
Yeah.
because even in Kent you had to go to Cleveland to go to Whole Foods. But no,
Yeah.
there's one in Columbus
There's
somewhere.
a
I think
few of
it's
them. There's a
Easton.
few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah. There's
Easton.
definitely one in Easton. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
because that's where the Trader Joe's is too.
Upper Arlington, like these are all the nice areas. Like
Right.
we're
Yeah, you gotta go out there. But that's why they got lamb. Hey, you know who else probably got lamb? Kroger in those nice areas. Like I swear to God, the meat counters at them Krogers and the nice areas is crazy.
it's so much
Um
different.
and we need to get off of this, but this is way
Yeah.
too far from where you live now. But you know what is a shockingly good Kroger? You remember where what is it off of the Bryce exit off of 256 on Main Street, like you're going to Reynoldsburg or
Yeah.
whichever
Yeah.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Main Street. They
Yeah.
built
I
a
know what you're talking
Kroger
about.
out there. That
Did they?
Kroger is and it's right next to the Swensons. I was at that Swensons all the time. The Swensons in Columbus still not as good as the one at Akron, but we would go there, and then we would go to one of the Kroger, and then when we moved downtown, we would go to the Kroger in Upper Arlington because that's where all the secrets was. That's where there was a Kroger literally 5 minutes from our house. We could walk to it, and we would go to the Kroger
Yep.
in Upper Arlington because like we're not going to
There's a
like
lot more at other
yeah.
Krogers in nicer areas than that one. I know exactly that Kroger you're talking about. I used to walk to that one too. I go in there like,
Oh
I ain't
yeah, I
got
forgot you used to live
nothing.
on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like yeah, there ain't nothing
yeah.
on
There
it.
ain't nothing in this damn store.
But that Kroger almost messed up our cars. We got gas in it, and it almost messed up our engine. We couldn't get gas there no more.
Oh hell no! See,
Yeah,
all right, yeah,
yeah.
good to know. Yeah, I'm not getting gas from there anymore anyway.
Nah.
I'd be damn.
All right, let's actually talk about something that
Right.
is related to this podcast. How did you feel about the Super Bowl?
Expected and unexpected, honestly. So, because I didn't, I had my pick was the Chiefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I picked the Chiefs, but I had a feeling they were probably going to lose that because I do remember how bad that offensive line was.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of Chiefs games, and I remember how bad that offensive line is. And the Eagles' defensive line is really, really good,
crazy.
like really good. So I had a feeling. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout like that. Like I didn't think it'd be that bad. But
I mean,
after a while, I was
Mahomes
like,
was getting assaulted.
yeah, no, I mean, it was nothing they could do.
Like,
And it was funny because it was like it was the last time that happened in the Super Bowl was against the Buccaneers, and he was still throwing dots and dimes on
yeah,
people. And you know what? He kind of did it in this game too. It's just like that Buccaneers one. Travis Kelce had 2 drops,
mm-hmm.
easy catches that would have kept drives going, maybe, and he literally just dropped them. So I'm like, bruh, I didn't expect it to be that bad, but like now that I've looked back on it, no 15 win team has won the Super Bowl. That made it to the Super Bowl. They've never won it.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, which
You
is like
see,
a crazy thing. Like, I was like,
you
what?
you see Travis Kelce's pressing curl.
Yes,
He
yes,
was
I do.
he was definitely proposing to Taylor if they won.
Yeah, that would have been corny. That would have been
Yeah,
so corny.
he was that. I don't care what nobody said. I know that's an internet rumor that we all just bought onto,
Yeah,
but the way that he came dressed to that game, and I've never seen like not that I'm like watching him, but like
he
I've
used to do
never
that
seen
when he
his
was
hair
with
like
the.
that.
Oh, his hair like that? No, that's why I was like, even with it was funny because I was like, you grew the beard back. You might as well have just brought the buzz cut back.
Right?
You should have been legit old Travis Kelce if you were gonna bring the beard out. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those things where it's like I think my mistake with it is I wasn't using similar to like what you said is like I wasn't using real football analysis because
yeah,
sometimes like the Chiefs just feel inevitable. And
yeah.
it's like you get them there to the 3P like because they shouldn't have went 15-1, to be honest with you. So
No,
it's like
no,
it's just like, yeah, the Eagles are good, but like Jalen Hurts is gonna make a mistake. He did, he threw an interception, but
he
like
did throw one.
nothing
Yeah.
mattered. Like it literally didn't matter, but it's because Mahomes couldn't breathe. Like
At
and,
all.
and then on top of
Which,
that, Jalen Hurts made a mistake, and Saquon Barkley was held to like 50 yards rushing, and they
yeah.
scored 40 points.
Yeah, in all honesty, legit. In all honesty, any other team for real, Chiefs probably wouldn't have
Yeah,
for real.
yeah,
And it was crazy because the one thing too that blew my mind was that I think it was Tom Brady or somebody said it in the commentary. They were like, It was like, well, now because the score was like 24-0. It was like, well, now y'all become one dimensional. And in
And
my
you
head, I
can't
was like,
pass because they pass rush is killing
yeah,
you.
but the thing was is that they started the game off one dimensional.
Yeah, they
They
didn't even
didn't
try
run
to run.
they didn't try to run the ball until like the fourth or fifth drive, and they
Yeah,
ran
and
the
at that
ball
point,
one time and then got away from it again. So I was like, y'all have been literally one dimensional the entire time. Y'all did this to yourselves. I didn't understand it, but hey,
I think it's one of those things where maybe they even like overthought it, where it's
yeah,
like we probably can't run against them, so why try? But like there's some things with football that is like true. Like I don't believe you always have to run to set up the pass, but
no,
you have to run.
you got to be able to run because if
Like
I
there
know you're
has
not
to be a
going
threat
to
of a
or you
run.
can't, like, well, fuck it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing about it. I was like, why are y'all not like it was like it was the second quarter when they finally ran the ball, and I was like, why did you wait so long?
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely spiraled. Freaking Cooper Jean got his first interception during Black History Month. Like, come on.
That his first one, or
That was his first career interception,
I
yeah.
thought that was his first career pick six.
No, that was his first career interception.
Uh,
Which is insane because he was grabbing them boys in college. Obviously, that shows like the difference in level. But
yeah,
that was his first career interception, and it was a pick six. It was his birthday, so I mean, shout out to him. But like,
right.
I mean, that's a great like. Is there ever? Could you ever have a better birthday than that? You
No,
win a Super Bowl and you
no,
get your first career pick. It's on Patrick Mahomes, who's going to go down as the first, the greatest or the second greatest of all time.
yeah. I do
And
think
you
it's
have a
weird that
pick
they're
six.
talking about that discussion is shut down now, and I'm like, how? He's
Dante,
he's 28, 29 years old.
none
Like,
of it makes sense. None of it. We don't have to get into this, but none of it makes sense because it's just like the thing that you retweeted on Twitter, where Stephen A. said LeBron and Steph had the most pressure to win a championship.
yeah, I was
It's
like,
just
what?
like
What are we talking about?
it's just like nothing. Nothing they say makes sense. What are you
I was
talking about?
like,
He's
if
he's
anyone, if it's
28,
yeah,
29. He's been to 5 straight Super Bowls. He's won 3 of them. How is it close? Tom
how's it
Brady
close?
played till 40. If he, which he's not going to, but if he doubled his career, that's 6 Super Bowls, 2 more, 3 more MVPs. Like,
Yeah, I was not only that, like, because I did see that there was like Tom Brady's from third to 3 to 4 Super Bowl appearance. It took 10 years,
yeah,
and I was like, and he just been to his fifth, like,
and that's many years. It feels
yeah, like he's 5 and 7 years. That's kind of crazy, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, 7 straight AFC Championship appearances. I was like, if anything, the door is wide open.
Yeah,
Like that, it's wide open. That discussion is still there because it's like, how is that closed? How you close the door on that discussion? Because he didn't do something no one's done.
yeah.
No one has done it. Like no one's three-peated in the NFL. So now all of a sudden he can't be considered a GOAT because he did something even the GOAT didn't do.
I don't think anyone's made it to 3 straight Super Bowls. Like, I think they're the first team to ever make it to 3 straight Super Bowls.
Buffalo Bills made it to 4 in a row,
All right, yeah, you're right.
or
And
three or
lost
four in
all
a
four
row,
of
and lost all of them.
them.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. You're right. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, Kent State legend Antonio Gates is in the
About
Hall of
time.
Fame.
About time.
Shout out to my boy Antonio
Mm.
Gates. I say my boy like I know him. I don't, but you only get so many legends from Kent State. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many times Kent is going to be
You
seen in a positive light.
Which is crazy because the thing is that if we sat here and thought about it,
There's a couple.
there's a lot. You got Nick Saban,
Yeah,
you
you
got
got Josh Cribbs,
Josh
right? Yep.
Cribbs, you have Julian Edelman,
Yep.
you have James Harrison.
Yeah.
You-
Wait, James played at Kent?
yes, yes, he
Why
did.
don't I remember that?
I don't know, but yes, he did. He was
Yeah,
undrafted out of Kent State.
James Harrison.
You got James Harrison. Like again, you got Antonio Gates. You got Lou Holtz. Went
I
there.
know. Yeah.
Um,
It's Northeast Ohio, baby. That's a football
yeah,
town.
yeah.
That's
Like
a football town.
I was like, if you sit there and think
There,
about
there-
this,
there's
there's a
more
lot.
than you would think. Yeah, there's definitely
Mhm.
more than you would think. It's funny because I forgot that James Harrison was from Akron, Ohio.
Yeah,
And you know how Ocho Cinco has been talking about like boxing him?
yeah. I don't
And
know why he. I don't know why he keeps saying that. I don't know
and
why
I
he.
yeah, and I was just like, I don't know. I think it'd be decent as long as he doesn't let James catch him. If James catches him, he's done.
He's
But
done.
then they was talking about it on the podcast with RC, and they were showing I was watching clips of RC and James Harrison knocking people's lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Like people forget that RC was really like that. Like
Mhm,
that boy
mhm,
was that he was a demon. Like I
mhm.
know you know that's your team. He was a demon. I don't know
Demon.
why.
He was.
Like
It's funny because people always talk about like James Harrison was. I was like, y'all forgot about RC.
yeah, it's
Like
because he was
RC was
it's because he
evil
was
on the
yeah,
field.
it was because he was
Like,
it was because he was a little smaller, so it did this thing.
mhm.
But he was
Like, dude,
90%.
like
Like
it's funny. It's like him, and then you go the third demon on that team wasn't even on defense because Hines Ward
yeah,
that blindside block. Oh my god.
yeah. That hey, that team was hitting, boy. I was
Mhm.
crazy. But they were talking about it on his podcast, and they were talking about it. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm proud of you," because I guess he let it slip because they were on a podcast, and Ocho called him a bitch. And you could tell he didn't mean to. Like it was just like
Yeah,
one of them, like you'll see bits, like one of them, like you get like geeked up, right? It's like,
yeah.
yeah, man, it's like someone telling you
He
you don't
got
want to
too
get
he got
it's like
too
you don't
into it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And James Harrison was like, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fight him. I can't do nothing there. But I will say, if he really wants to step into this ring, I'm gonna give him everything he want. And RC was like, you can't hit that. He's like, no, he called me a bitch. I'm gonna give him everything he want. And I'm from Akron, Ohio. I said, oh, he's gonna kill him.
He gonna
He
kill
gonna
him.
kill him. I forgot he was from Akron. Oh boy, you gonna kill him. That's crazy. Yeah, that's hey, Ocho. That is not what you want. Please stay out that ring for you
Couldn't
before you get
believe it. I
Rocky.
can't believe
You get fucking
he like legit think he could beat him too. I'm like, what?
like throw in the towel. Throw
Like
in
for
the
real. The
towel.
one thing
Like
too, because it's like the one thing that really is hilarious about Ocho is that you 50 something still eating bad.
yeah.
It was cool when you was an athlete because you
Mhm.
took care of yourself the other way. You ain't doing that no more for real.
No.
You ain't doing that no more. James Harrison is still doing that.
Huge, huge. He doesn't look like he lost a single.
No, he looked
He
like he
don't
could step on the field right that today.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. That boy is crazy.
yeah, nah, yeah, Ocho's crazy.
Yeah. Please don't do that. Please don't.
Oh, now if you do, I'm tuning in.
Oh,
Don't get me
absolutely. He's
wrong.
absolutely. He's gonna go out like Apollo Creed. I'm telling you, that boy is insane. And James ain't hit nobody in a while.
Oh, I know he itching.
Yeah.
That's why he brought up the fact that he was from Akron. He itching.
Yeah, yeah. He itching. He be outside punching stoplights, like stop sign. He be hitting trees. He's like, please, I just need something. I know he still be punching himself in the head trying to
Mhm.
get hype. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, no, that would have been hilarious if they really did it. I doubt they will.
I
'Cause-
I think they just talking.
yeah, because I don't think James Harrison will actually do it.
He called him a bitch. He will. He may not have done it before. But I'm gonna send you the clip if I find it. He would do it if he steps in that ring. James is gonna do it. He because and that's one of the things that they mentioned in the clip. They're like it seemed like it was joking at first, but then it kept going, and he's like, then he called you a bitch, and it's like, yeah, now he would do it. Like if they set it up tomorrow, he'd be there.
Yeah,
Like
and
yeah,
that'll be fun to watch. That I might pay for that.
facts.
Don't put it on Netflix though. Good.
Oh, please, yeah.
It's,
And like
it's gotten worse. Wrestling has gotten so much worse on Netflix now. It was cool the first 2 weeks. It's bad now.
that we I have a weird thing with like TV and stuff. So like we end up having these long conversations about like Netflix and TV providers. That is something we can definitely talk about.
Mhm.
And like later in the off season, because I definitely have an opinion on it. But I think the problem is Netflix, unlike Amazon and unlike Apple and some of they didn't pay their stripes because they had too much money and the other ones had done it. So like
Mhm.
Amazon, it was like a year or two before they had their own game.
Yeah,
Like Apple was doing similar, and Netflix licensed like 2 games, and then they
and
gave them WWE, and it's like, do you have the infrastructure for that? Which
honestly,
clearly they don't. I mean, clearly they
the thing with Amazon and football is that all they really did is just take up Twitch.
don't.
Twitch was already doing it on the Thursday night games, and then uh, since
So
Amazon
yeah,
bought Twitch,
there
that's
was
all it
even
was.
more infrastructure.
Yeah, it
And
was
yeah,
already set up for it, for real, for real.
crazy. And like the weirdest news ever, because it took me so long to like figure out how this made sense. The Big Ten just created the inaugural Big Ten Jackie Robinson Community and Impact Award.
Is this the first award for Jackie Robinson in the Big Ten, like named after him? I mean,
Yeah,
huh?
but do you know
Hmm.
why? Do
Well,
you remember where?
he went to Ohio State, right?
No, you would
No.
think so because so many black people that era did.
Wait, Jackie Robinson didn't go to Ohio State.
No,
Did he? Did he
you're
go to
thinking
a
of
Big Ten school?
technically
Which
he went to
school?
UCLA. So I'm
Okay.
looking at this and I'm like,
Okay.
why the hell does the Big Ten have a? And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, did he go to Ohio
I
State?
thought he went to Ohio State.
Did he
Like
go to?
people talk, I swear people have told me that. So now I'm actually about to. I don't know who it was. I'll have to figure out who told me Jackie Robinson went to Ohio State.
But honestly, the reason why they think that is because, oh my god, I'm gonna be so disrespectful. There are a lot of who's the track, the Olympian, and he was up there with Hitler and them, and he pissed Hitler off.
That wasn't Jackie Robinson.
No,
No.
boy.
Um.
Oh my god, this is so disrespectful. We
You're
should cut
right.
this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. 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 No. 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 You're right. You're right. You're right. Hmm.
There are people like yelling at their fucking
Oh yeah, they're gonna
yelling
be
in the car,
pissed.
like,
You know,
yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I know
And it's
Sam.
Black History Month. Oh my
Sammy,
god.
man, Sammy's gonna be so upset when she hears this. Oh Lord.
This is pissing me off. Jesse Owens. Oh my god.
It was right there. We knew the answer. We knew what it was. Just couldn't figure out the goddamn name. But yeah, all right.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
there are a couple of people from that era, both
Mhm.
men and women, who went to Ohio State. So I get, like, I can see the jump with
Why
Jackie.
don't I know Jackie Robinson went to UCLA? Why does it feel like he went to USC?
I don't know. I don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, he was a like
I'm
he was
sorry,
a
black people.
he was a yeah he was a this is your Black History Month fact. Jackie Robinson was a four-sport athlete at UCLA. But I'm
That I
seeing this
that
award.
I know.
I'm seeing this award, and I'm just like, something about this doesn't feel right. So I literally had to pull it up and read it, and I'm like, UCLA. And I'm like, oh, they
Oh.
are in the Big Ten.
It
Like,
would have been.
it
It would
just
have been
feels
the.
wrong. Like, it just feels wrong for the Big Ten. Like, it's right because the Big Ten of any conference really respects, like, they have their awards are really named after people like Jackie Robinson. Like, they really
Mhm.
go back into the history and they name their awards after people. They do a lot of these honors. Like, I think the Big Ten respects history more than most, but this doesn't feel like Big Ten history. So I'm like, why does the Big Ten have a Jackie Robinson award? That doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, no. UCLA is technically in the Big Ten, so it's now
It's
the
like,
Big
why?
Ten
Why are
Jackie
they doing
Robinson
that?
award.
I mean, like that UCLA. I still don't understand why they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So but the award is the following criteria: is demonstrated impact, so significant and tangible contributions to community projects, collaboration and teamwork, ability to work effectively with others, including peers, organizations, community members, consistency and commitment, ongoing and consistent participation in community service activities over extended period of time,
Okay.
visibility and advocacy, efforts to raise awareness and advocate for important groups or causes, leveraging their platform to promote positive social change in others. I think it sounds like a great award. It sort of sounds like the Big Ten's version of the
That's what I
NFL's
was,
Walter Payton Award.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's what it sounds
um
like.
they're giving it their each I think there's going to be two awards. There's going to be one for a male athlete, one for a female athlete,
Oh, that's
and
dope.
each school can nominate two athletes.
Okay.
And this is going to be the first one. It sounds like a great thing. Like, I'm really happy that the Big Ten's doing it, especially with all of these things with people trying to take away rights and
Yeah.
remove Black history and like all of these things. It just took me so long to figure out why
Why
the
they were
Big
doing
Ten
it?
was doing
That's funny.
it. Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna take our break here, and then we come back. We have two quick pieces of news, and then we'll get into our road trip for the show. As a reminder, as we're trying to do shorter shows in the off season, our road trip is like our one main topic, our longer topic that we'll stick on. And our road trip this week is our top 10 conference games of the 2024 season. So we have a couple of quick news things, traffic updates after the break, and then we will get into our road trip. So we'll be back on the other side of the ads. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Langert Podcast, I-80 Football Show. Um, most of the coaching stuff is done now officially. Oh, actually, it may not even be officially because I don't know if Ohio State's officially announced it, but there's Ohio State has finally finished its staff after all of its changes and people leaving and all of this sort of stuff. So
Right.
they hired Tyler Bowen from Virginia Tech to be the offensive line coach. They promoted Brian Hartline to offensive coordinator, and it looks like they also promoted tight ends coach. Why am I going to forget his name right now? I am not doing well.
it's, it's been sluggish for us.
Yeah, and somehow it feels like we didn't record last week when we did. Keenan Bailey. They also promoted tight ends coach Keenan Bailey to co-offensive coordinator, and then they promoted sort of Billy Fessler to quarterbacks coach. That one's a little different because Billy was at Ohio State as a GA, and then he left and he was an offensive coordinator at Akron. He worked at UCLA, and then he came back. So it's not like a really internal promotion like the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is one of those things where, like, both of those, you don't know if they're ready, right? You really never know. But Brian Hartline and Keenan Bailey are two best recruiters. Before Keenan Bailey took over the tight end position, it was basically non-existent at Ohio State. Like, he's kind of revamped it, and he's going to put a couple tight ends in the league and things like that. He's doing really good recruiting, and it's at this point, it's either promote them or lose them. And Ohio State's at a place where it's like you can see if it works. If it doesn't work, and Ryan Day has to step in, then he probably demotes them, and then maybe you lose them to another job. But eventually, you have to promote them or you have to lose them.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, you leave Chip, and you hope that all these years under Ryan Day, and then this master class in offensive football where you get to watch Ryan and Chip together, you hope that they're ready. You never really know. On the defensive side, they only had one coach to hire. They hired Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator today. They promoted cornerbacks coach Tim Walton to co-defensive coordinator. And then they also promoted Matt Guerrieri, who a lot of people thought was going to be the defensive coordinator, to pass game coordinator, which is just a title to give him a raise because he deserved it. I won't get into it here too much, I guess, but there's a lot of, I would say, like, frustration and stuff, and from what I've seen on Twitter about Matt Patricia, because one, people don't know if he's a good coach, because you always get this thing that happens with, like, did Bill Belichick carry him, or is he actually a good defensive coordinator?
You don't know that Matt Patricia is a good coach in there?
That's what people are saying.
Really?
But yes,
I feel like we know.
That's what I thought. You know, like, I don't like. Do we know if he'll transition to college? Well, no.
But is he a good coach?
Probably, yeah. I feel like we know that.
Okay.
Like, yeah,
he's not a good head coach. He's a good coordinator.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I get where they're coming from about the it being a problem because what's his name? He was. I will say this: when he's had other coaching jobs as a defensive coordinator, other places, it's been hit or miss a lot of the time. Like his here, you're not wrong. His success has been as a Patriot when he was a Patriots defensive coordinator. But I do think he is a good enough coach for it to be all right in college. I think he can translate in college.
Yeah, especially because the one thing that you have with Ohio State is you almost always have the talent advantage.
Yeah.
And Ohio State has a really strong staff too. He's not doing it alone. And my thing is just like, so how I feel about the hire is basically this. I don't know if it's going to work. You never know if it's going to work, but I trust the process. And so therefore you just give it a chance, right? Like, it's Ryan Day. I mean, it took like a month, right? He interviewed a lot of people. People thought it was, people originally thought it was going to be an internal promotion. Then you hear a couple NFL names and stuff like that. So it's like, clearly it seems like the process was run well. He cast a wide net. You heard college coordinators, you heard NFL coordinators' names, internal promotions. He did a lot of interviews. And so something Matt Patricia did or said convinced him that he could do the job. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. The other thing that people are upset about is that I guess he has like he has like rape charges from when he was a player. And I think that is a very there's like two
Like,
sides.
are they current?
No, it's from when he was a player. It was in the 90s.
So like that's already been dealt with and everything.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It's like I get like I listen. I'm never gonna minimize that. I
Right.
get that. I'm not gonna tell anyone that they're wrong for it. But at the same time, like I don't know how you can say you don't want him coaching Ohio State because of that. That's a line I'm totally with. I don't support any rapists. At
Right.
the same time, you can't be mad at Ryan Day when he passed all of the NFL background checks. He was able
Yeah,
to
that's
be
what
a
I was
head
like.
coach. He was able to do all these
I
things
didn't even know that.
clearly before these things, right? And so
Like, because I didn't even know those were.
I
He
found
had
out
those
today. I
allegations.
found out today him and another player, and it went to court, and like it ended up getting dropped because the alleged victim couldn't didn't testify or something like that. But yeah, and so like
Hmm. Interesting.
I don't. I
Because
haven't had enough
it's like
time
what
to.
he has like a 15 to 20 year coaching career in the NFL.
Yeah,
Just
something
about
like
he
yeah.
is he definitely have double digits and like never heard of those. Never heard of that.
I didn't even hear that when he was doing a head coach. So
No,
um,
nah. Like
yeah, I don't know that I don't know that I have.
that's weird. It's just weird that it's never been brought up before until
Yeah,
or never been a thing. Because like especially as a Patriots coach, you would have thought people
yeah,
would have brought that out, especially during that era.
yeah. So like
Hmm.
I think that's one of those things that like will never defend. I haven't had enough
Mm-mm.
time to even sit
Mm-mm.
with that. I would just say that I would hope that in this time since then he's as much as you can because that's
Yeah.
really in my opinion basically it's really sort of unforgivable, like in this time he's done whatever he can to make his recompense or whatever,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
at the same time I'm never gonna be mad at someone for that being their line. Like that's my like I will
Yeah,
never
no,
listen to R. Kelly
I
again.
get it.
Like that's
I
the line.
truly get yeah.
But yeah, I thought like so
And
there's some commotion in the Ohio State fan base because of that. But that I mean that's the staff. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
yeah,
On the other end of it, Penn State lost their running backs coach, Jawan. Is it Juwan? It is probably Juwan. No, he's black. It's Jawan. Jawan
it's
Cedar.
Jawan. It's
It's
Jawan.
Jawan.
It's
Sorry,
definitely
it's
Jawan.
the way it's spelled. He's black. It's Jawan. Jawan Cedar to
I'm
Notre
just
Dame.
mad because
But
it's technically Spanish. Like they're
yeah,
doing a Spanish.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
But it's still
Gotta
Jawan
love our
for
people.
sure, for sure.
Oh my
Um,
god!
the
Because when you said
interesting,
he was black, I was like, no, that's Jawan.
yeah, it's definitely Jawan. Yeah,
The wine part is killing me. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I was,
I don't know if he's Afro Latino, but he's black. I don't. Yeah.
if he's Afro Latino, that's actually hilarious.
Right.
It makes it
Yeah. Yeah.
more funny to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just does.
No, it's more funny because it was like it was like
Y'all definitely
let's
mix
let's
cultures. I love it.
yeah,
Like,
yeah let's find a name where we can mix cultures. Um, JU apostrophe, that's the African American side.
yep.
Juan is the Latinx side. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know if he's Afro Latino, but no, it's definitely Juwan. It's
I'm gonna
not.
go look.
He is now Notre Dame's running back coach. But the interesting thing about this is the second year in a row that this happens where a coach had arguably the best duo in college football returned for their senior year and then left. Like it happened with Ohio State. They
Mhm.
had Travion Henderson. They go get Quinshon Judkins from the portal. We saw what they did. They both had over 1,000 yards rushing and double digit touchdowns this year, and he leaves to go to Michigan. And then this guy, he's the one that recruited Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. He's had them for 3 years. They both come back for the senior year, and he just leaves. It's just like it's one of those things. What's that saying? Is like if I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd
Mhm.
have two of them, which isn't that many, but it's still weird. It
It's
happened.
still weird. It happened, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's weird. Like why I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if
I'm
it's money.
I'm
I don't know. Maybe
looking.
it's Marcus Freeman. Maybe maybe he's
It's
Catholic. I don't know. But
probably money.
I couldn't
It's
imagine leaving Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, personally.
Yeah.
Maybe when they leave, but that's I don't know. Interesting.
It's probably money, and he might get a little more responsibility and stuff like that. I'm looking at him. He looks like he could be Afro Latino. I gotta go to his Wikipedia page, but like he looks like because he kind of looks. I like I don't want to say Hawaiian. I forgot what it's actually called.
Samoan or Polynesian.
Yes. Yeah, he kind of looks Polynesian, which makes me think Afro.
Oh, maybe he's not black.
Yeah, doesn't he looks more Polynesian.
Yeah. Which makes the name even more interesting.
Mm-hmm. He's from Florida. No, bro, I need your parents. They don't go into family life on this Wikipedia page.
He's not big enough for that, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's 47. This is an interesting name for someone that's 47.
I'm trying to damn. I wish they would have more on him. It's all football. His whole page is nothing but football.
Yeah.
What are you, sir? I know that's kind of fucked up to say. Now that's a black man.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. He black in something else. I'll tell you that much. So we might be on to something.
Yeah.
Like we legit might be on to something.
I don't know, but it's the spelling of the name is just interesting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So
is hilarious.
Hold on. His dad's name is Jay.
You found his dad. Okay.
It was just in an article. He was interviewed. His dad's name is Jay.
Just Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, we. This doesn't help anything.
No, he's black. His son's name is Jaden Jaron.
Oh yeah, and he married to a white woman. That son's name is Jaden. You already know.
And her name is Brandy with an I.
Oh, yep. Yeah. Once I hear that you a black man with a son named Jaden, Aiden, or something, I'm sorry. I'm going to assume I'm usually right.
African American in there for sure.
I'm usually right when I assume that once you're doing like.
Yeah. All right. So, heading on our road trip, top 10 conference games of 24. There's definitely going to be some repeats. This was hard. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, and it was harder than I thought. It was so hard. I have 2 honorable mentions, and I still left games off my list.
Yeah,
so like I cheated.
As we were going through this, I was telling him about games that he forgot. He was like, "Oh, yeah, damn, that was one. Like,
yeah." So I think we got a lot of them because you have some that I don't have, and vice versa. But like, this was hard. I'll do my honorable mentions first.
Yeah, I didn't do any honorable mentions because I was like, if I do, I'll have 15, 16.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Yeah. I thought I was gonna have 1 honorable mention, and then I was like, I gotta do 2. Yeah, and then I just So my first honorable mention is Ohio State, Nebraska. It was 21-17. Like I say this all the time because it's true.
Didn't Nebraska have a lead at some point in that game?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They did lead the game, but also what I was gonna say is a lot of times, right, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, or whatever, these teams, like when they're in these tough games, you don't feel like they're gonna lose. This is a game I felt like Ohio State was going to lose.
I thought they really were.
Like legitimately, they were a goal line stand away from losing this game. Like this is a game where like Nebraska was driving to take the lead. Like this was not one of those games where it's like Ohio State played.
They would have won that game legit 24-21.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for Ohio State's defense, they were. And this was the game right after Ohio State lost its offensive tackle, and so. Nebraska's defensive lineman was destroying
Mm-hmm.
that left tackle. So yeah, that game was rough. Definitely thought Ohio State was going to lose that game. And then my other honorable mention is Ohio State Penn State, which compared to some of the other games on this list, I don't know if it was the most entertaining game, but it's had a lot of big moments. Right, like I mean, literally, Ohio State's first drive, Will Howard's first pass is a pick
Pick
six.
six.
Ohio
Mm-hmm.
State has two separate goal line stands, one right before half and then one at the end of the game. And the one before half, I think they ended up kicking a field goal. I think
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it was like a 20-yard field goal or something weak. And then the one at the end of the game, like it was a legit 4-down goal line stand. So like maybe not the most entertaining compared to some of the other ones we're gonna get to, but still a
If you're
really good
looking
game.
at the score, probably not. But that was a nail biter for
Yeah.
both teams the whole game. For real, for real.
Mhm.
Like Penn State's defense was doing its thing against Ohio State. They ran the ball decently, and I think that's what turned Penn State around for the rest of the year. Was this game for real?
Yeah, and this is also the game where then Ohio State got after that goal line stand. Ohio State got the ball and did what Michigan did to them the year before and ran the ball for like 9 straight plays
Yeah,
and just kind of like ran it out.
yeah.
Um,
Nah,
so yeah,
that
this
was a good one. That was a really good one.
yeah. All right, so my 10 to actually start our list is Illinois, Nebraska. Illinois wins this game 31-24. And this is one of those games where like literally, and
My
I have
kids
this,
are behind.
I have this up until so the this thing there's it says there's 160 this I don't know how this breaks down. It doesn't matter. But essentially, for almost the overwhelming majority of the game, Nebraska was expected to win, and legitimately until they didn't. Like
Yep.
into the last second, um, Dylan Rayola and I am not gonna forget um, Illinois' quarterback's name because I actually do like him. Dylan Rayola and Luke Altmaier were balling. Luke Altmaier threw 4 touchdowns. Dylan Rayola threw 3 touchdowns and an interception. I also think, if I remember correctly, and I can pull this up, this is the game where Dylan Rayola had a chance to win the game in overtime, and Illinois sacked him like 3 straight times, and then he threw an
Hmm.
interception.
Yep.
This game was crazy. This game was nuts. It was a fun game, and this was one of those ones where it's like both of these teams, you have these expectations where it's like you don't know what's going to happen because it's like we're like, man, if you look at the schedule, Illinois might win 8 or 9 games. Nebraska may win 9 or 10 games. And so this is one of those like, if you don't follow the Big Ten, one of these games you probably like whatever. But if you watch it, you're like, yeah, I need to watch that game. I want to watch that
Yeah.
Illinois Nebraska, and that game lived up to the hype.
Okay. Because I was about to. I had to figure out who I forgot to put who Penn State went against for my number 10.
Mm,
Because I was like, what? So my number 10 was Penn State, Minnesota. That was a really good. That was a good game, defensive wise and offensive wise.
yeah.
20. The game ended up finishing 26-25, and I remember we were talking about that game, and you were very concerned about Penn State going into the finish the season, especially going into the playoffs because they struggled against Minnesota, and they all. I think that's they had a lot of injuries for that game as well. If I'm not mistaken. That's just
I
it
don't
was
know. Injuries are the things that I forget as soon as the season
yeah,
ends.
yeah, all the time. But it was like one of the like it was legit a Big Ten football game, and for it to end 26-25, which I think in my eyes both scores are weird to see.
Yeah,
To
it
see
is.
26 and 25 is just weird, but
And
that was a really good game.
for sure, and I think the most kind of interesting thing about because this game's on my list, one of the most interesting things about this game is Ohio's like Penn State went for it on 4th down twice
Yeah,
on the
twice. Yeah.
game-winning drive and just
Hmm.
like just wouldn't get off the field. Like,
Hmm.
so that I mean, yeah,
It was especially that last drive. It wasn't Penn State like it. I expect Penn State to literally either like punt the ball away and stuff like you wouldn't expect them to go for it twice, maybe once, but not twice. And
mm-mm.
the fact that they got it both times was, it. it solidified Penn State for me, honestly.
Yeah, because literally, like,
You're not scared
Minnesota,
anymore.
and honestly, this kind of made me. This is, if you remember, this is the game that made us mad because we all like we never understand when coaches don't like go for it. So this
Mhm.
is the game where Minnesota kicked a field goal
Yeah,
from Penn
yeah,
State's 9 to be down 1, and then Penn State got the ball with 5 minutes left and didn't give it back
yep.
because they kept going for it on fourth downs and stuff. And we're just like, it's 4th and 8 from the 9. You're down 4. You have to go for this. Like, you have
Hmm.
to go. They kick
Hmm.
the field goal and then they never see the ball again.
Yeah, because like 5 minutes isn't a lot. While a lot of time isn't a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's on my list. That's my 7. That's a good one. My 9 is Maryland USC, and I could have had like 6 USC games on here.
Hmm.
Like, there were so many games where it's like, USC, what are you doing? Like, but Maryland USC, another weird score, another
Yep.
weird score game. It's
29, 28 is weird.
yeah, like how did they get 29?
I'm trying to figure that
I
out.
don't remember. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to. Well, I have it up, so
They
I
might
can
have
tell
went for
you.
two at one point.
I can tell you in a second how they got to 29 because that is. So it was 7, 7, 7, 14, 21, 21, 28, 20. Went for 2. Yes, 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 yes. So Maryland, yep, Maryland was down in the fourth because this game, USC was up 28-14 in the fourth quarter. Maryland scores a touchdown with 10 minutes left. They go for 2. It's
Mm.
28-22. And then they get the ball again and they score their final touchdown with 53 seconds left. And they win 29-28. And this was a game that Maryland was up, like I said, 14 points. Sorry, USC was up 14 points in the fourth quarter.
Hmm.
And Maryland scored the last 2 touchdowns. The last one, 53 seconds left. They came back, upset USC. And this was like, you're starting to really like, USC is really struggling, like we predicted,
Yep.
really struggling in the Big Ten with these teams, because that's the thing. You can talk about Ohio State, you can talk about Michigan, you can talk about Penn State, but the biggest difference between the Big Ten and the Pac-12 is the middle. It's the Marylands, it's the Iowas, it's the Nebraskas, it's the Minnesotas. It's those teams. It's not just
Yeah.
the top.
And it's the one that was the game I think where we both were like, this see what we mean about the defense, and like we weren't really sure about USC's defense, even though we saw them play pretty good against Penn State, which is a game we both are gonna have on here. But we kept saying like you're that's your biggest problem has been this defense.
Yeah,
And the fact
and
that you gave up 20, not 20, you're up 14. You gave up 16 points pretty
yeah,
much
and
in the fourth quarter to lose the game and couldn't even
and then you have this big offense. You couldn't a field
you
goal in the
you
fourth
couldn't get a
quarter.
field in the fourth quarter.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like you couldn't do anything. Billy Edwards put up 350 yards rushing on them. Sorry, not rushing. That's the quarterback. He put up 350 yards passing on that defense.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Um.
That's
Yeah.
a lot. I was looking for something.
Yeah. What's your 9?
My 9 is going to be OSU Michigan. I think that game was a sneaky good game. Um, Especially since the outcome was so unexpected. It was so unexpected. The fact that Michigan kept Ohio State to the lowest scoring they've put up all season. I think pretty sure the 10 points. OSU putting up only 10 points is legit shocking.
Yeah.
Especially after the run they were going on, and how, especially not just that, how good the defense was at tackling and stopping the run. And that game is, I think, probably the worst that defense looked all year, even against Oregon. I think that was the worst it looked all year, and it still looked pretty good. Don't get me wrong, but I would say compared to the Oregon game, that I think that was the worst it looked, because
I
I
mean,
don't.
honestly, I disagree with that.
That's fair.
I don't
It's
think
just
Michigan did anything. Michigan had one good drive, and in that good drive, Ohio State picked them off, and they didn't score a touchdown.
mm.
Like
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
like your
It's just
defense is at 13 points. Like
yeah.
you expect to win
You're
that game.
right. It's just okay. I'm wrong. You're right. You are right. I'm wrong. That's the worst the offense looked all season.
That's the worst. That might be the worst the offense has looked under Ryan Day. That might be the worst the offense has looked since 2002 when offenses just looked like that. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was
Because
some of the worst offensive
it
football
was
I've ever
because it
seen.
wasn't like the past years where it's like it looked like they gave up or they just didn't care. It just you looked like you were definitely looking over this team on
Yeah,
offense.
yeah,
At
no,
least.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you look like you were
Basically,
looking over this team, and it
you
was
thought
just
the win was guaranteed, which is what
yeah.
everyone was saying.
I mean, like I shoot at
We thought the win was
who would have thought that
yeah,
Michigan would have won that game? You lost everything. That's why I have it on there is because Michigan lost so much and still pulled out the fourth win in a row, which is
and
and it was weird. It was the weirdest. It was one of the weirdest games I watched
yeah,
all season.
and I would never put this on there, of course.
Of
But
course not.
I think I think one of the things with this is to me when I explain the difference in like college to the NFL and some of these other kind of things, it's this. There's
Mhm.
nothing that you can explain that explains this except it was a rivalry game and their pride was on the line.
Nah, I would say at least for the NFL. Um, what was it? Last year and the year before, Steelers Browns. Steelers go in. Browns come into Pittsburgh, get destroyed, and then Pittsburgh goes in. Pittsburgh, a better team, goes into Cleveland and gets destroyed.
Right.
You're like,
But the
yeah,
Steelers Browns is one of the few rivalry like in my everyone talks about rivalries. I think the Steelers Browns is one of the few real rivalries in the
mm-hmm,
NFL. And
mm-hmm,
surprise, surprise, it's Ohio and Pennsylvania, two big ass footballs.
yeah,
You like
yeah. I was gonna say
And
like
Pittsburgh
in
is
the
an hour, like they're like an hour and 15 minutes from each other or something. Like
yeah,
that is my opinion. That is the most collegiate like rivalry in
because I'll say in the
the
NFL,
NFL.
I will only say Browns, Steelers, Ravens. I guess Cowboys,
No.
Eagles.
No, no, I don't
Okay,
care what anybody says. No,
okay.
I know there's probably a Cowboys or Eagles, and the reason why I won't believe that is half the Cowboys fans are fake. No, I'm not giving that one. But yeah,
Okay, then just those two. That's the
I
only.
would, yeah, I'd probably
I
say
can
yeah.
only say those two. Those two. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing on the West Coast, like
No,
nothing
no,
on the West. Yeah,
no, nothing on the West Coast. No,
yeah,
like maybe at one point when it was the Legion of Boom in San Francisco for those like 3-4 years, but
yeah.
it didn't last long enough for me to really care
No,
or for it to count like something like that. So yeah, yep, those two: Browns, Steelers, Ravens.
yeah. My number 8 is USC Michigan, and this is my last. No, it's not my
No,
last
it's not.
USC game. I have
No,
3
it's not.
USC games on here, and
No,
I
it is
could have
not.
had 4 or 5. USC was going through it, boy.
No, while
They were
also
having a year.
they were going through it while also giving everybody a scare. Like
Yes,
they legit gave everybody a scare. That's the one praise I'll give USC
yeah.
in that coach.
Like, and we said
Lincoln
this
Riley
last
is
year.
almost becoming was Clemson's coach for me. Like I just almost refuse to say his name.
Yeah, like, but it's crazy. Like this is one of the games where we get like I remember giving them credit. I'm like, I thought they would have given up by now.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep. And I think I gave credit to Michigan because I was like, y'all really should have lost that game too. Y'all,
yeah, no, literally.
you
I
should have
mean,
lost that game.
let me read some of the stats from this game. All right, USC, their quarterback throws for 256 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their running back goes for 13 carries, 100 yards.
4 touchdowns.
Yes.
7, 14, 21.
Wait, I'm literally looking at the stats. It says 4 touchdowns, but that math does not work
The
out.
math doesn't work because I'm like 7, 14, 21.
All right. Well, that's good to know. This site is off sometimes, and now that's really off. And then, but Michigan wins this game with their quarterback throwing for 22 yards.
Yeah, they ran that ball.
But they're
But
running.
that was the thing we kept
Mullen,
saying about USC was going to be a problem that they
yeah,
wouldn't be able to stop the run.
Khalil Mullins ran for 159 yards. The quarterback ran for 53 yards, and Donovan Edwards ran for 74 yards. They ran for over 250 yards on him, and just like they just kept the clock. Like they just literally um, ran out the clock. USC had a bunch of 3-and-outs to begin the game, and then they fought back, and they come back, and it looks like they're going to win the game. I think they actually, if I remember correctly, I think they take the lead.
I think so.
Yeah, they do. They take the lead with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 24-20, and then Michigan goes and just runs the ball down their throat, wins the game with 37 seconds left. Good game.
That was a crazy game because it was legit. Like it's crazy how, and it's gonna be a thing for a few of those USC games, but this was one of the ones where it's like it was impressive and disappointing.
Yes. It's like you should be a better coach than this. You shouldn't be losing to Michigan, but also props for not for fighting. Like I didn't think your teams had that in you.
Yeah.
I didn't think your teams would fight.
Yeah.
I've seen your teams play before. They typically just sort of lay down.
Yeah, and then it's just sad because again, Michigan really had nothing, and you should not have lost that game, and you found a way to lose it. It's just weird. It's one of the weird ones because, like I said, it was impressive and disappointing because you did fight, but you shouldn't have been in a fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Basically, yeah, you fought, but you should. That's the perfect way to put it. You fought, but you shouldn't have been in a fight. So,
you should not have been in a fight.
Props, I
guess.
Yeah. good
job. That's funny.
Yeah. Your 8.
My number 8 was Northwestern Purdue. Who won it?
Northwestern won that game.
Yes, Yeah, because this was a weird year in football because Northwestern was winning games. You're like, why? Why are you doing this? But yeah, no, that one was because that was one of the games we were talking. We were like, don't nobody care about these two teams. Don't nobody want to watch these two teams play football. And like, it's probably going to be terrible. And it ended up being really exciting and a close game. And you're like, of course. So, I think. Was it Purdue looked good on defense, which was surprising, and then Northwestern. I think Northwestern was good on offense all around, rushing and passing. It was just one of those games where you're like, this ended up being entertaining, and it was one of the most not the most entertaining games because it's only 8 for me, but it was an entertaining. Yeah. It is an entertaining game that you really just did not expect to be entertaining at all.
Facts. My 7 we already talked about, so I don't have anything else to say. It's Fair. Penn State, Minnesota. 26-25.
Yeah. My 7 is USC, Washington, which is again a game you wanted to make as an honorable mention.
Yeah, I wanted to, but I was like, no, you got it on yours. I'm not gonna have 10 honorable mentions. You mentioned that game. I was like, oh, that was.
I forgot. I forgot about that one, but that one was good. Rivalry game, of course, from the Pac-12. Washington won that one, right?
Yes.
We don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Washington won that game. I can't fully remember what happened in that game.
I just remember. I'm pretty sure it was both of the teams' running backs went crazy.
Yeah, which was unexpected from both teams because they're air it out type of teams.
Yeah, and Miller Moss. I think this is one of Miller Moss's last games as the starting quarterback. He threw 3 interceptions. This is. I'm starting to remember now. This was another one of those games where it's like, where it's like USC should have won this. It's one of those like congrats for fighting sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like Washington goes up 20-7. USC scores 2 touchdowns in the third quarter.
Yep.
I
remember this.
And then Washington, I think they get it's either 2 field goals or they try to go for two. They go for two and they fail the
You
2 point
failed 2 point.
conversion.
Okay.
But yeah,
Oh, to
like
make it 28-21. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So you
Miller
have to get
Miller
the touchdown, but you still
yeah
regardless.
Miller Moss threw 3 interceptions in that game,
Yeah.
and that's why
Yeah,
they
that's right. Because Washington, yeah, because Washington looked like stinker to start that game.
yeah
It was a stinker by them, and I was like, USC is gonna make a bowl game because of this. And then I come back because it was probably one of my four corners, and you're like, what the hell? But yeah, Washington stunk to start that game, and then it becomes a good game from the third quarter on.
yeah because Washington they went up 10-3 in the third quarter, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't in the first quarter, but they didn't score until the 6 minute mark
Yep.
basically because the whole first quarter was bad.
Yep.
And then it was a weird game. And then Washington, I think, if I remember correctly, I think USC throws an interception right before half. Washington gets a field goal, and so they go
Yeah.
up 20 to
Yeah. I think
7.
so.
They up 20
Yeah.
to 7. And it's like this
And
game
it was
really
something they
shouldn't.
did not have. USC legit did not have to do. Like they
Yeah,
didn't have to do that. You could have ran the clock out. I remember that. Yeah.
and then yeah, and then USC comes out of half. They score 2 touchdowns. They're up, and then they just don't do anything the rest
Anything.
of the game. And
Anything. And
Washington
Washington took over.
wins.
It flipped. The whole script flipped on them.
Yeah, and it's really just kind of like yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like, um, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why
And
are you
again, you're
doing
right.
this?
USC should
What
have
are
won
you
this game because
doing? Like,
Washington was the worst team on paper, honestly. Because you lost everybody. Like Washington lost a lot coming into this season too.
yeah. Oh, so I pulled up, I pulled up the like play by play,
Yeah.
and which I'm not doing for every game, but let me tell you, um, USC's last 3 possessions. The first possession, 3 plays, interception.
Mm-hmm.
Then Washington goes and gets a touchdown. This is when they go for 2 and they don't get it.
Get it? Yeah.
The next drive, USC has the ball for 15 plays, 77 yards, 8 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock, and they get stopped on fourth. It's a goal line
Yup. It
stand.
was a goal
They get
line
stopped on
stand.
4th
Yup.
and 1, no
Yup.
points.
I remember that.
Washington,
Because it was like, what the fuck? Because it was like,
yeah,
where did that come from out of Washington? You
yeah,
really haven't been able to do much on defense until that moment.
yep. And then Washington punts. USC gets the ball again. They go on a 10-play drive, and they get stopped on 4th down again.
Yep.
4th and 4 from Washington 14.
Yep.
So like multiple chances for them to
You know
win
what's
this game.
funny? It's funny. Both of those drives, you kicked a field goal. Game's yours.
Yeah. there are not many times you can say that, but in this one, legitimately, the game is yours.
Game's yours. You legit went for the kill, which I'm not mad at. Truthfully, like again, you don't really want to put it in your kicker's hand, especially in college. Like I understand that, I fully get that, but this is the one time where it's like, you know what, kick the field goal. Your defense is doing enough to keep Washington really off the field. You've had maybe 2-3 bad times on the field as for your defense, but most of the game you've been doing well. Might as well put it in your defense's hands, especially if you're doing 15 play 8-minute drives, 10 play with 6-7 minute drives. Like, right, kick the field goals. That makes it 20. It legit makes it 27-26. And I still would have put it on here just like because Washington almost gave you the game. Washington going for 2. Washington gave you the game.
Yeah. That's one of the ones I wish I had on my list. I didn't, but still, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, we got.
My number 6 is Penn State, Oregon, obviously in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Where the hell was that Oregon at? Like, I'm sorry, where the hell was that Penn State?
Penn State at, yeah.
And honestly, we didn't see him again. Like, we literally didn't see him again, even though they won in the playoffs. Like, I was telling you all year, I'm like, I'm concerned about their offense. I'm concerned about their offense. And you're like, it's fine, it's fine. And then they have this game, and I'm like, all right, man, if this is the offense, like, they're good. And then they go to the playoffs. They don't do it again. They win the first game because they have like 3 pick sixes. And then they like shit the bed against Notre Dame. They should have won that game. I mean, they did play well. Like they coached well, but like they didn't whatever, but like 37 points on Oregon, and this is like, it was hard to believe in Ohio State because of the whole everything and the Michigan of it and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, Penn State put up 37 on Oregon. You got to be able to score on this team. They ended up being able to score on them. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
It
like
was just
Penn State was hooping in this game.
that was an
Um,
exciting game. I think I'll say this. The one thing that this game proves to me is that the no conference thing should have been happening
yes,
in the Big Ten. Should have been happening in the Big Ten, because this is probably one of the most exciting Big Ten championship games in a minute, in a long time. Because it was like, because if it was a conference, we we probably
then
do
that,
see we
but
probably
yeah,
do see Penn
yeah, you
State,
see it
Oregon.
before.
You would have seen We would have seen
Penn
it
State,
like
Ohio
this.
State, Michigan, Ohio
Yeah,
State.
but
Instead, you're getting
this year, the reason why this year is funny because I think Oregon, and all them probably will be on the West, right?
yes,
Oregon, USC, they'll be on the West. So Oregon would have won the West, and we still would have got Penn State, Oregon for the Big Ten championship game. But like any other time, we wouldn't have gotten that game. We would have got Penn State, Iowa.
yes. And nobody wants that.
No one
No.
wants that. Like we kept getting it. We got Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State and Iowa. Who cares?
Yeah.
In the past 4 years, it was pretty much Michigan and Iowa. Who cares?
The one year was Purdue.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Purdue did
And
win. Yeah.
Michigan smacked him. Just like, yeah, chopped liver. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this was a fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this game, to be honest,
It was high intensity from start to finish.
yeah, to be
Yeah.
honest, this game should be higher on my list.
Yeah, I
But
got it
the
at 3
one
for me.
after it is a nostalgia thing for me because I was at this game in person. And
Fair.
then the other two games, I just feel like was just, I mean, they were bangers. You can't do nothing about that. The
Which is
highest this game could have been for me was 4. But all right, where are we at? What is your
6
6?
for me, which is your 5, which is Rutgers UCLA. I watched some of that game. Of course, you went to that game, so you'll have more to say. I didn't expect that from UCLA.
Nobody did.
Like I didn't expect that at all. And honestly, all year round, I kept saying that about UCLA. Didn't expect they made a bowl game, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Or did they just miss it? Hold on. That's a question I don't want to get wrong.
I can check.
I'm looking at it right now. They went. Did they just? I think maybe they just missed because they lost to USC. They went 5-7. Yeah, they needed. They needed to beat Washington. I think they needed to beat. What was it? They needed to beat. Yeah, they needed to beat Washington, and then they needed to beat. Oh, that's the wrong schedule. Either way, I think they went into needing to win their last 2 games, and they ended up losing to USC. So they went 5-7. Oh, I was right. They needed to beat Washington and Oregon, one of Washington or Oregon in their last 2 games, and they lost both those games.
And we all knew it wasn't going to be Oregon. So
yeah. Oh, sorry. Washington or USC.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Oregon. They needed to beat Washington or USC
in the last game. Yeah, because you should have beat Nebraska.
And they didn't. They did beat Nebraska.
So it was the Rutgers game is where you should have won.
They won that one too.
So then you're right. Washington, USC. I'm trying to figure out how they got. It was Indiana because no one expected Indiana to be what they were. So it's the beginning of the season, but yeah.
Yeah. The game that they should have won is Minnesota. They lost 21-17. Mm-hmm. And then they lose their first game, they lose 5 straight. Then they win 3 straight, and they get to the point where it's like, okay, we think you're going to beat Fresno State. So that puts you at 5 wins. You just need to beat one of Washington or USC, and they lost both of those games. They lost to Washington 31-19, and then they lost to USC 19-13 in a game that they could have won, and they
should have won. Yeah, should have won. Because I remember going into that, I was high on UCLA. I was like, UCLA is going to kick USC out of a bowl game, and end up being the one in the bowl game.
And then it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. I wanted that to happen so bad.
But the Rutgers UCLA game was crazy. The quarterback was running all over the place. He had like
Mm-hmm.
a 40 or 50-yard run, was breaking ankles. That's when he started throwing the ball. And I'm like, I didn't even know Ethan Garber's like, I was not familiar with your game. I didn't know you could do that. He
Right.
threw he threw for 369 yards, four
Mm-hmm.
touchdowns, and ran for 62 yards and a touchdown. And I'm like, I'm at the game, and I'm
That's
like, since when could you do this? Like,
nah,
and and
that was nuts. I
And the
remember. 'Cause I'm like,
crazy part about it is like Rutgers didn't play bad. Like the game got out of control a little bit, and then Rutgers started playing. So then they were just going score for score.
yep,
Kyle Monungai had 3 touchdowns. Like Ethan Kaliak Manis threw for 280 yards. Like it was legitimately like
yeah,
a very fun game. And I can't believe that. I mean, I'm very happy that I was there to watch it, but like it literally was just like this is insane.
yeah.
Like
I remember that was one of my four in the box, and I didn't have the sound on for it, but I kept looking over, and I'm like, what is this score? Like, what is
like
going on? And it got to a point where I was like, the sound wasn't on, but I was looking at that square. I kept looking at that one because I'm like, what? What? And I'm like, UCLA is putting up what? Like, what's
yeah.
happening?
Starting in the third quarter, the drives went field goal Rutgers, touchdown UCLA, punt Rutgers, touchdown UCLA, touchdown Rutgers. UCLA misses a field goal.
Yep.
Rutgers throws an interception. Then literally immediately after Rutgers throws an interception, UCLA fumbles. Rutgers gets a touchdown, and they're like, "All right, are they really about to make this comeback?" And then UCLA like runs out the clock. Like, yeah,
Yep.
it was a good game.
It was a
Very
good game,
fun.
man.
That game is 5 for me. And like I said, it probably should have been. If I didn't go to that game, it would at least have been switched with Penn State, Oregon. But I was at that game in
Mhm.
person, so I had to give the nostalgia factor and make it my 5.
Yeah.
What is your 5?
My five was Michigan, Minnesota. Um, that was ended up being a good game. Sadly, Minnesota should have. Michigan won that game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Minnesota should have won that game.
Yeah.
Like, again, there's a lot of these games with Michigan where you're like, Michigan was impressive all year round and should not have been. And this game again is a testament to both teams. It's just like Minnesota. I think it's just going to be what they are now. I'm not going to have any more faith in Minnesota, and definitely shouldn't, because they don't have that same team that I had all the faith in. Like we all
And
know,
then
we've been putting our faith in Illinois. So
right, and unfortunately, the teams that we had the faith in just didn't seal the deal.
yeah,
But this game was crazy. I have it pulled up in case you didn't remember.
yeah, 'cause I
Michigan
don't.
goes up 24-0.
Yep,
And then
I remember.
they
I
go up.
turned it off after that.
Yeah, they go up 20. Oh, hold on. No, they don't. They go up 24-3. They go up
Mm-hmm.
24-3,
Something like
and
that.
then Minnesota scores 21 points in the fourth quarter
Mm-hmm.
to try to like get back into the game.
It
And
was.
it's, where was
I
this?
remember how Minnesota went nuts
Yeah,
out of
and
nowhere in that fourth quarter.
it's literally like, where was this offense at? Like, if you had this, you would have won the game.
Yeah,
But yeah,
easily would have won the game. They, I don't know. That somebody was like, I guess the coach was like, look, let's make them respect us to end this game, and then you gave them a real scare for
yeah,
real.
for real. My number 4 is Illinois Rutgers. Illinois wins the game 38-31. This was a fun game. This was another one of those games where it's like it looks like it's going to be a blowout, and then Illinois decides to play, and so starting in the third quarter, it's there's 3 straight touchdowns. So Illinois gets a touchdown, Rutgers gets a touchdown, Illinois gets a touchdown. Rutgers punts, and then there's 3 straight touchdowns to end the game. So in the span of
Span
in
of
the
like
span
what, a
of
quarter and a
7
half.
drives, yeah, in a quarter and a half, a little over a quarter and a half,
Mm-hmm.
6 of the 7 drives are touchdowns.
Touchdowns.
Like they just start
That's
going
insane.
crazy.
That's insane.
Like literally, they just start going crazy. That was a really fun game to watch. And I mean, it's 38-31. Illinois Rutgers, like they both were, it was later in the year. They both were like, both teams were kind of not having the season that they wanted, where it's like they were still good, but they lost a game or two that they shouldn't have, and so
Yeah,
now they're like, it's the season's not really over, but also it's kind of over. It's like the last game, it's the second to last game of the year, so you're fighting for a little bit of pride, and they just both, and like especially Rutgers. Rutgers was fighting for some pride. I think Rutgers was still trying to get bowl eligible at this point, and they literally like they were just throwing haymakers at each other.
yeah.
I mean, six touchdowns and 7 drives in the last quarter and a half of the game. So
Nuts, freaking nuts. That was your number 4, right?
yeah,
Yeah. I think that was a game I actually did not get to see. I don't think I got to see that game.
I can't
Like,
remember if I watched the whole game or if I came in at halftime, but I definitely watched most of that game.
I think I might have saw the end, but I don't fully remember. I don't fully remember what I watched of that game, so I don't want to say something stupid or anything. But I do know for 6 out of 7 drives to all be touchdowns from both teams is nuts. That's
Yeah,
insane. That's
and
insane.
the craziest part about it, only one of them was a short drive.
Of course.
So like not in time. There was a couple that were short in time, but
Hmm.
only one of them was 5 plays. There was an 8 play drive, a 14 play drive, a 5 play drive, an 8 play drive that ended in a punt, 12 plays, 10 plays, 8 plays.
Yeah, those are drives. Those are legit drives.
Yeah.
Damn. We're on 4.
Yep.
Yeah, my number 4. I know it's gonna sound weird because I'm pretty sure people are like, "What?" OSU Oregon. Exciting game, all out. Why can't? Because the game that was like week 4, so that's why I can't really remember
Yeah, that
anything.
game was early.
Oh, that was early in the season. How did that game start off? Did Will didn't throw a pick, did he?
He threw one that, depending on who you ask, was or was not a pick, but it did not get called a pick.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was a controversial
Yeah.
to start the
Because I
game.
think
And
what both teams just big plays after big plays.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Is
mean, Will went for 317 yards and 2
Yep.
touchdowns. Dylan Gabriel went for 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nobody threw a pick. Travion Henderson ran for 87 yards on 10 carries, so his was all big plays.
Yep.
Jordan James ran for 121 yards. It took 23 carries, but like he was getting going. Yeah. I mean, that game had I don't know why it's not your number 1. That game had everything. A player got ejected for spitting on somebody.
I
Like,
forgot about that.
yeah, like
I
literally,
forgot. I
Quinshon
forgot.
Judkins fumbled for the first time of his career
Yeah.
because the defensive tackle took the ball from him.
Yep. Took it right
Like
out of his hand.
didn't punch it out. Didn't no. He stood him up in the hole
Mm-hmm.
and ripped it out of his arms.
Just
It's the
snatched it.
craziest thing I've ever seen. Like you
Yeah.
see, like the ball's loose, someone punches it, it hits your knee, it hits someone's knee. He literally stands him up in the hole, grabs the football, and just pulls it out of his arms.
The reason why it's not my number 1 is because, again, so we've talked about my number 3 because that was your 6. I think that game, everybody was everyone was expecting OSU Oregon to be a great game, and it ended up being a great game, which is nice. A lot of people expected Penn State to get blown out in that game. I remember seeing that. They were like, "Oh, it should have been this team. It should have been blah blah blah," and to face Oregon, because I remember a lot of people wanted the rematch to happen in the Big Ten game.
Which is
For,
which is
yeah,
what everyone thought, and then
yeah.
Michigan happened.
Yeah, so that's why Penn State's ahead of it. That game's ahead of it. We'll get into my 2 and 1. The reason why I'm good, my 1 is my number 1 just because of the score,
Yeah,
especially for
I think
Illinois.
I think I missed most of that game because that game was on the same day as my 3, which we can get into, Penn
Mm-hmm.
State USC and Ohio State Oregon, and I was at a bar and that game wasn't on the TV
Yeah,
because
it
it was
wasn't on the
like Illinois
TV.
Penn State. So I get home and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no, I watched some of that game and I was so mad at Illinois' defense. I was pissed. I
Yeah,
was pissed off. I'm like, bro, y'all are much better than this on defense, like by far. And nah, we'll get there when we get there. But we're on your 3, right? Yeah,
yep. So
yeah,
my 3 is USC, and I literally
which is my 2.
This is my top three, and I did this intentionally because one, they're all good games, but I also did it because, like I just said,
All
they
three
all
happened on the
happened
same
on the
day.
same day, which is
Yeah.
insane. Penn State, USC, that game was crazy.
Yes, it was.
USC starts the game, and it's like, are they about to blow out Penn State?
Right?
Like they get a
It was
one
like
play,
Penn State. Did y'all not show up at
yeah,
all?
they get a one play 75-yard touchdown. Penn State punts. They get a 7-play drive. Penn State gets the ball again. They get an interception. And Penn State throws an interception. Uh, USC gets a field goal. Before you know it, it's 17-0, and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, and it for a second there, it legit looked like Penn State was just going to lay down,
Yeah, and it
and
was
and then the next thing you know, no,
yeah, it was 20-7 at half, and then Penn State comes out of the half, scores immediately. They get USC punts, Penn State scores again, and it's like, all right, now we have a game.
yeah,
Now we have a
and
game.
what else? Then you started seeing a little bit of the creativity on offense because they were like, we got to give. I can't think of his name.
Tyler Warren.
Yeah, they
That was
was
a Tyler Warren game. That dude was
yeah,
throwing touchdowns. He was rushing touchdowns.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
dunking on people. He went crazy. And then so with a minute left in the third quarter, so this is essentially just 13 minutes. This is how the game ends. USC field goal, Penn State field goal, USC touchdown, Penn State touchdown,
Mhm.
USC interception, Penn State interception. That's the end of the game. They
Yep.
go into overtime. Penn State kicks a field goal, and USC misses a field goal, and that's the game. That's how they lose. Like
That
they were literally just matching each other. It was
yeah,
field
it
goal,
was
touchdown, touchdown,
crazy.
interception, interception, and then field goal. But USC ended up missing the field goal. Should have won the game, but
USC definitely should have won that
Penn
game.
State
Yeah.
decided to show up. I mean, it was just like you look at the stats; it just didn't make any sense. Tyler Warren had 16 catches for 207 yards.
Yep. Yeah. It legit didn't make any sense. A lot of it just did not make any sense.
USC ran for almost 200 yards
That don't
on
make
Penn
no
State.
sense. You
Like
that's something I just would never expect to hear.
literally.
Like
What and they stopped Penn State from running the ball. Penn State ran for barely over 100 yards. Their
yeah.
two running backs, Nick Singleton, 10 carries for 26 yards. Katron Allen, 16 carries for 56. So I'm like, USC defense is stopping the run.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? Drew Aller threw 3 interceptions this
Yep.
whole career. He doesn't throw any. This number may be wrong. This may be one of the ones where the stats wrong, but he threw a couple interceptions for sure. Yeah, this game was nuts.
I think that was the first game where he threw multiple. I think
Yeah,
that was the first time.
and they literally just won that game on the back of Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
like,
Tyler Warren did everything. Like he
yeah,
legit did everything.
he was just like, I got this one, guys. Like, I'll save us.
I'll save us. Like yeah, 'cause that's right. He did. He threw a touchdown. They had him run it in, and that was a weird looking play when that happened too. That looked weird, and he caught a touchdown. So he had the only thing he was missing was a return.
Basically, yeah, that punt returner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which you know what I would have.
At some point, you got to try something.
Yeah, might as well.
So my 3 is your 2.
Yep.
So we can skip. We just talked about that. So my 2 is Illinois Purdue, 50-49. I'll let you talk about that game because I did not get to see it, and that's a game that I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I saw the end of it. Like I saw some of it when I
because there was so many good games on.
Yeah, when I tell you, not a single lick. I mean, not a single lick of defense was played. If you like football when there's high scoring and no defense being played, this was the game for you for real. Like for both teams, because Purdue's head coach is defensive oriented, right? That was
Brett Bielema?
Michigan's
Oh no. Who was Purdue's head coach? Oh yeah. It's
Isn't
still
he
Ryan
Michigan's
defense? He was Illinois' defensive coordinator.
Yeah. And both teams are defensive oriented, and they go in there and put up almost 100 points combined.
Yeah,
because that was one of those. That game, I remember we talked about it. We were like, Purdue's going to get stomped. It's probably going to be like 30-10.
Yep.
And it ended up being 50-49.
And it's just like, how
How did both teams who were supposed their whole identity, at least I believe Purdue's identity should it's defense, and we know Illinois is run the ball defense. And what am I looking at?
And the
Like,
crazy thing is that, like, looking at it, the game, and I remember why I didn't watch this game that much, aside from the fact that it wasn't on in the bar. Um, Illinois went up 24-3.
yeah,
They went up 27-3.
yes,
In the third quarter. In the third
yes.
quarter, they were up 27-3. And then Illinois was like,
And Illinois' defense just said, okay.
yeah. And that is when I think he was a freshman, Ryan Brown came in hooping, and I'm like, why did
Oh
you not stick with
yeah,
him the rest of the year? Like he looked, I'm like, this dude is
because
crazy.
Purdue threw in the towel just for them to not literally throw in the towel.
Yeah, the quarterback, he was a freshman, Ryan Brown. He threw for 297 yards, 3 touchdowns, and ran it had 17 carries for 118 yards.
Yeah, and that all was in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why that's my number one, is because it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's one of those, like, Purdue legit I don't want to say gave up, but they were like, all right, well, we're not going to win this game. Like, let's just give some players some playing time. Let's see something different. And next thing you know, it's a game. And you have one of the best performances you've seen from a freshman quarterback in a while. Well, not in a while, but it's one of the best performances by a freshman quarterback in a half. Not just a game. That's a game. He had a game and a half.
I think he played the whole game because I think the quarterback was injured. But he started slow.
Yeah.
No, he started slow. Clearly, he started slow.
Very slow, yeah.
And then he just turned it on. And on top of that, Devin Mockabee had 100 rushing yards too. So, like, literally,
that's sad because Illinois that's what they want to do, is stop that.
Yeah,
they want to stop that. And like the fact that they gave up over 200 something passing yards,
almost 300 passing yards,
almost 300 passing yards.
Like,
and then hold on, I gotta look at Illinois stats from that game, because again, you put up.
Yeah, Illinois. Luke Altmaier threw for 379 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they ran for 177 yards and 3 touchdowns as a team. Now, Luke Altmaier also ran for 60 yards and a touchdown.
It's just for either. One thing about that is just I wouldn't expect either team to put up more than 35 points. Like 35 is going to be the most I expect from both of those teams. And again, we got 50, almost 50 from both.
Crazy.
That was a crazy game. It was a crazy into the game too. And like you said, those 3 games all happened in the same day.
And that was one of the days where, like, oh my God, there's so many games. You get Ohio State or you get Penn State.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We kept talking about that.
I don't remember which game there was, but there was games in the. I think that's maybe that
was the best day of football we've had.
Yeah, because was that
all around?
Was that also? It was one of the Bama Georgia.
I think it was Alabama Georgia. I think Alabama Georgia played that week.
Hella games that week. We were just like, and then it delivered. There was a bunch of upsets, and we were just like, what the hell?
Because I think Texas. No, was that?
I'm gonna have to pull it up. What week was? I'm gonna have to pull it up.
Week 4, right?
No, it was later in the season.
Nah, because we're talking about OSU Oregon, and that was like week 4, week 5.
It was week 6.
Weeks. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was week 6.
No. Iowa played Ohio State week 6.
Maybe it was week 7.
It's week 7.
It's week 7.
Week 7. Minnesota UCLA also was in that week. Yeah. And that was good too.
I'm pulling it up on Football Schedule so I can see it. Because I just remember just like how, because it's like a lot of times when you hype up a week, it's it doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
And this week gave us everything we wanted plus some. So okay, hold on.
I want to say, was that Alabama, Texas?
It was one of them because I think there was 2 top 5. What is going on? I think there was 2 top 5 showdowns.
I don't think that might have been that.
And or it was the Vanderbilt Alabama upset. It was something crazy.
No, I think that Vanderbilt upset was later in the season. That was later in the season, I believe.
literally, I just want to talk this out, and then we can end the podcast. And my computer decided that it doesn't want to load anything anymore.
Where are you
Like this
looking
is
this up
the
at?
what on college on footballschedules.com. It's where I look up everything. It's the best website for football schedules. And it's literally like my computer
College.
is just like, oh, you're doing something right now. You need okay. So I finally have it.
You want to do something silly?
Yeah, right. Literally. Um, we had that Pitt California game that was crazy. That was 17-15. Illinois
Oh yeah.
Purdue, Penn State USC, and then you also had Tennessee Florida,
Okay.
Ohio State Oregon,
Right.
LSU Ole Miss, which was also a 3-score game, and then
Oh yeah, that was
you
a
had
good
that
game.
crazy Kansas State Colorado game.
Yep.
Like, and it was just like,
And I think Kansas came back in that
yes,
game.
yes,
Yeah.
and we beat Colorado 31-28. That game was
Mhm.
at 10-15, and I remember being up like all night watching that game.
Yeah, because because when Kansas started to
And
come
then
back,
the
I got
upset,
mad because I was like, damn, I wanted to go to
yeah,
bed.
there was a Vanderbilt upset. It was over
No.
Kentucky though. It wasn't as big as the other ones, but
Oh,
Vanderbilt beat Kentucky.
and Kentucky was ranked 25.
No, I don't think. I don't know. Kentucky had. I
Oh,
didn't. I'm not going to
Kentucky
say
had a weird
anything.
year.
I'm not going to say anything about Kentucky because I didn't watch a single game of theirs except the game where they almost beat Georgia and then lost it. And it's like, what the
Yeah,
hell is going on? So,
yeah.
yeah. And then my number one is Oregon, Ohio, OSU, Oregon. This was your number one. So those are our 10 games,
Mhm.
10-ish games because honorable
You
mention.
had 12, and
Um,
we were talking about other games in between anyway. But yeah,
yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up because this was an hour and 40-minute hour and 40-minute off-season podcast. But
because we was talking about HelloFresh and shit.
yeah, we probably should have did 5 games. 5 games would have been impossible. Whatever.
Oh yeah, nah. I don't even
um,
think I would have been able to come up with 5 because I
no,
don't. I'm not even that confident in my top 5. Like,
yeah.
I
All
could lose
right,
any of these games around, really.
yeah. My pit stop this week as we wrap up the show is just that the NCAA took the next step for women's flag football to be an NCAA sponsored sport. They have this thing called the I'm not going to say the name because I don't remember it, but essentially they do this thing where like it's not a championship sport, but it's a sport that schools can sponsor, and the NCAA essentially lets you do it until you have like 30 or 40 teams that have it. Once you
Mhm.
have 30 or 40 teams, then it can become a championship sport. That just happened with women's wrestling. So
Okay.
26, I believe, is the first year that women's wrestling will have like an NCAA champion. And so they are voting to approve women's flag football to be an NCAA sponsored sport, which means team can then do it. And then again, once 30 or 40 teams have it, then it'll be a sport that there's a championship, which essentially just means in the next 3 to 5 years, we will have scholarship championship like NCAA college women's flag football. I just think that's cool. There's been a lot of different things, iterations of women playing football. There's been women flag football. There's the Lingerie League. There's a
One of the
professional.
worst.
Yes,
What I
there's a.
I
Them girls was hitting. Like I know
they
they.
were hitting.
I
They
know they
don't get
tried
me
to make.
wrong.
The funniest thing is they tried to make that league all sexy and stuff like that, and it was literally just women in underwear clotheslining each other.
Clocking each other,
Like
and it was so
it was so violent.
it was violent, and I can appreciate violence when
But it
it's
literally made you feel
organized.
bad. It made you
Yeah,
feel bad for him. It's like, are
yeah.
y'all like? I think that's why it didn't last. It's like, how, how is this
I
legal?
yeah, the one thing like that made me so like it pissed me off because it was like, look, how can I say it? It was so unorganized, or it was just it was sloppy gameplay with violence, which is like it when the it makes you go, well, now the violence is worthless because it's so sloppy, it's dangerous. And
Yeah,
it, like you can be violent and it doesn't have to be dangerous, but it was extremely dangerous. And like I don't know how people I don't know how many people out there understand how important literally wearing a real jersey is,
Yeah.
and having real thigh pads and all that stuff. And
Yep.
like to have all that out and you're just doing that stuff. They didn't even have real football helmets. They look like field hockey helmets. Or
Yeah.
no,
It was.
or something like it just it's one
The
of
league was dangerous.
the
The
league
league
was
was. The
dangerous
league was
and it
dangerous.
it was
Like,
fan service that no one wanted.
no, because like the
No
thing
one
is, like,
wanted.
even if you were like someone's like, "Ooh, I want to see women in lingerie," oh my god, you watch it and you're like, "Ooh, ouch!" Yeah, that league was,
I'm good. The lingerie football league
that
reminded
league was
me
crazy.
of
NFL
the
straight.
that, but like you're not a big wrestling fan, but I am. When I was growing up and the Divas division was bra and panty matches and stuff like that, that's what it reminded me of. And it was like a mockery to athletics, especially women's athletics. That's how I look at the lingerie football league. It is
Yes.
a mockery to
Yeah.
women's athletics, and it was truly just to like we like to have people to have you're doing it just to have men watch football, to
Basically.
watch them play football. And
Yeah.
most people who watch football for the sport of football. And that wasn't football.
No.
It wasn't football. I
Yeah.
think this is good though. Flag football, that having them it legit be a national sport in college is fun. Uh, like I was talking to you before. I was telling you earlier, like that powder puff in high school. It when I saw that, I was like, they're definitely going to be safer and smarter. This
Yeah. Because of
generation is
the
a lot
NCAA.
safer and
Yeah.
smarter than us. But I remember flag football with women, and they they forget that it was flag football.
Yes. Yeah.
They forgot it was flag football every single time. I'm like, gosh, y'all don't
Yeah.
have pads or helmets on. Some of y'all
Right.
are not wearing mouthpieces. Stop it.
For
Stop
sure.
what you're doing. But yeah, this is gonna be that'll be cool. This will be cool.
Yeah. And the last thing that I have to say, I'll also use this moment to shout out the Women's National Football Conference. It is a women's football league that has like 15 or so teams.
Mm,
It's not well known, but it's like you can like they have like a TV sort of contract with like something called like Victory Plus, but they also like this is legitimate tackle football. They wear pads and everything. They're safe as you can be playing football.
football, yeah.
But at the same time, they also have a flag football division. So this is one of those things where, like, if the NCAA does flag football, maybe then this women's national football conference becomes like, right, if you play flag football and you want to continue, maybe you go into this, and now you're getting another women's professional league to go with the NWSL, the WNBA. They're now doing soccer. Sorry, I just said soccer. They're now doing softball and volleyball, like all of these things. So shout out to flag football being
Yeah.
a NCAA sport here, hopefully in the
Mm.
next couple of years.
If it ain't gonna be women's, it's gonna be men's.
Yeah, men's flag football is going to come. Men's flag football is coming too. Women's will be first, just
No,
because of
no, I'm saying
Title
like
IX and
the
like
college football is gonna end up
no, no,
being
no.
men.
Oh no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like you know how like the joke like is they're trying to make it so safe that it's almost like you might as well not tackle y'all because
Yeah,
you can't you're gonna make it more dangerous making it safe, and you're just gonna make it more dangerous for what is it defensive players, because that's how I look at it. The game is a lot more dangerous for defensive players now, because of all the rules trying to make everything safe for offensive players.
yes, and they're not even trying to make it safe for offensive players. They just
It's
trying to
more
make it safe.
quarterback, but like
They're trying to make it safe for their wallets.
yeah, because I'll say this all the time. The fact that a offensive player can lower his head to run a defensive player over, but I can't lower my head to make a tackle. That because it's more dangerous. Because like or the thing is like if I'm going in to make a hit and I'm like this, and now the offensive player lowers his head and it's a penalty on me, seems to be ridiculous in my eyes, and it's dangerous for the defensive player because I already made the decision to make a safe tackle, and the offensive player made my safe tackle a dangerous tackle by lowering his head and shoulder.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, For anyone who's still here, thank you for
Right.
listening to a 2-hour podcast in the off
Pretty
season.
much. Pretty
They
much.
won't all be this long, but yeah, I think it's maybe a little bit too ambitious to try to do 10, 20 games basically that we're talking about in an episode. But
Yeah.
as always, thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week. You can follow us on YouTube at Get Defensive Sports Network. You can follow us on Instagram at Get Defensive Sports Network, and you can
Yep.
follow us on TikTok at GD Sports Network. And we will catch you next
If
week.
you still got it.
Yeah.